What a day. Holy crap. If you are an investor in GameStop going into today, this is probably the best day, depending on how long you've been investing for, the best day of profits you have ever booked. Ever. The MOASS is officially here, and I personally don't think it's going anywhere for a while. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe and bell for notifications. And without further ado, let's recap the insanity that just took place today. This is Friday, January 22nd, the day after I made a video about Andrew left from Citron Investments or whatever, this bozo the clown guy that said that GameStop is going to $20. The entire world laughed this guy off the stage, and for good reason, because we all knew better, because people who invest in GameStop know why the value of the company is going up, know why the price point was slowly raising over the past 6 to 8 months to an insane amount. And when he took the stage and said, it's going to $20 because they're just like Blockbuster, and they're mall based, and no one shops there. So yeah, it's going to $20. That was a sign for anybody who's interested in making money to buy as much as possible, because this guy had no idea what the hell he was doing. As the day began, it was a little bit hairy. The stock actually started dipping at the open, and I was a little bit concerned, not like super worried, because I'm like, I know I'm confident in this investment, and I know that a lot of people are in on this, that it's going to be successful for pushing the price point up, because we know that these short sellers have nowhere to go. And because of that, they need to start covering. The MOASS, for those of you not familiar, stands for the mother of all short squeezes, and often references companies like Volkswagen that shot up 5 times the price, and I believe it was a day. Another one that comes to mind recently was Kodak, which spiked straight up and went straight down. And there's something to be said for a short squeeze. And yes, there are a lot of concerns with it, but I don't feel like this short squeeze in particular is done yet. Now, as far as the value of the company is concerned, I am looking at it as this is fairly priced for it right now, if not a little bit high. I know there are other people, respected people that cover GameStop. Rod comes to mind, Uberkicks, who says that the median price point, the regular base case for it is around $80 per share, I believe. And I'm like, okay, it could be that, but I don't know. They haven't done anything yet. This is just they've started the foundations of becoming the next generation of GameStop, and that's exciting. And there's a lot of catalysts behind it, especially with the next generation consoles. But nothing really has happened yet. And that's why there's a lot of people that are saying, get out, get out, get out. It's gonna drop like a rock. It's not gonna be worth anything. I strongly disagree with that. I look at GameStop as it's going to be fairly valued around, we'll say anywhere between, at this point in time, before they announce a roadmap or anything or any kind of earnings, anywhere between the $50 and $70 mark, I think is a fair value aim for this right now. And that's what I felt when I first started investing in it over a year ago at $4. I was like, this is dirt cheap for what this company stands for and what they might be able to do if they start doing things right. With the next generation console as a catalyst, there's a lot of things that can propel this company forward. So with that being said, right now, the share price today, in the morning, it was like 3 or 4 hours into trading, there were 2 circuit breaker stops and holds on it. And it ultimately, the peak was around, I believe off the top of my head, I think it was like $82 a share, which was nuts. But it ended up falling like straight down from that rather quickly after it peaked. And it ended up the day, after it dropped to like $55, it raised back up and ended the day around 65, which was really good for for a short squeeze. But I don't think this is over by any means. I think this was just the beginning of something much bigger to come. Now, knowing going into this that, sorry about the wind, by the way, that's what you get when you're outdoors. But as far as what I see with this short squeeze going forward, the price, I believe, is not done from going up. Ultimately, it will fall back down to this range, and I understand that. It might even fall below this range. But this is what you get with a short squeeze, and I've lived through them before. I learned my lesson with a couple of them, and it's very touch and go. You got to pay attention very closely to the price points and what the price action is on it and how the market is digesting it. Because right now I'm looking at this and I'm like, it went to like 85 bucks before it dropped to ending the day at 65. But that tells me that we all know it's one of, if not the most shorted stock on Wall Street. And today proved that people are starting to exit their positions. These gigantic billion-dollar hedge funds are getting huge losses, and they are sick of losing the money because they can't afford to keep shorting the stock. Every single day that goes by, they owe money with it. So they need to exit their position. To exit their position, they need to buy the stocks back from the shareholders, and that comes at a premium. And because of that, it forces the squeeze. And I feel like, as we found out today, Wall Street Journal had an article talking about Melvin Capital, our good friend Melvin, who is infamous for shorting he's the picture of shorters for GameStop. He and his firm have lost 15% of its value so far this year. That's 3 weeks. A billion-dollar hedge fund has lost 15%. 15%. At least I think it's $1 billion. God only knows how much money they have. They have a lot based off of the information I found out researching this Melvin guy. He's got a hell of a lot of money. So losing 15% of the value of your entire firm in the first 3 weeks of a year is pretty close to being unheard of. So with that in mind, we got moving forward. He is trying to cover his position most likely, while other hedge funds and investors who are shorting the stock for a long time also need to. And when it comes to a short squeeze, I'll give you a quick definition. Basically, there's only one exit, and there's a fire in the theater. And everyone needs to get out, and the only exit is by buying the shares back by the shareholders. Problem is with GameStop is there's more shares borrowed, i.e. people shorting the stock, than shares outstanding for the actual company, which means that there's not enough room for everyone to get out at once. So it was kind of, in a weird way, genius. If I'm looking at this right, what happened today was almost like a concerted effort by these hedge funds working together. I don't want to assume anything, but just the way the stock went, it almost felt like they were in talks with when they were going to start exiting their position, so it didn't just keep going straight up, which tells me that there's far more time left in this. Based off of the short interest alone, people were projecting this to be going into the hundreds of dollars, like not 100, but hundreds of dollars. And it only peaked at 85 today. So I don't know if it's going to reach the hundreds of dollars in the future, but I do see it getting up into that range past $100, potentially. A lot of this is just conjecture, and a lot of it is just me just kind of thinking out loud here about what I'm seeing taking place here. But I don't think this short squeeze is over, not by a long shot. I took some off the table just because I didn't want to be completely invested in this 100%. How's it going, guys? Beautiful day.
Yes, sir, it is. It certainly is.
Yeah. I didn't want to be so fully invested that if something did go wrong that was completely out of my control, that I'd lose everything. So I did take a little bit of profit. I took a little bit off the table, but I still have a lot in it because I feel like next week is where the real short action is going to happen. And there's going to be people that see this thing rise into past $100 potentially, kicking themselves saying, oh man, why did I get out last week? Because this is going to still keep running. And then there'll be the other side of the coin where people will say, but this is GameStop. It's not worth that much. Why are people paying these prices for that stock? That's the short squeeze. It's not worth that much. That's the beauty of this. That's why I said at the beginning of this, you need to plan accordingly. You need to be careful with these short squeezes because it can spike and then drop straight back down right after it. And you can't do anything about it because it happened so quick. You weren't paying attention and you lost out on a whole slew of potential gains. So when you actually pay attention to it, you see it going up next week, potentially would be a chance to lock in some profits and then have it come back down to a reasonable price. People that say, I don't get why people are spending this money on the stock. It's not worth this right now. It's GameStop. They're going bankrupt. They're going out of business. Look, the value of the company means nothing when it comes to a short squeeze. And that's what a lot of bears don't understand when they're so frustrated that the price keeps going up. They don't understand how a short squeeze works, which is beneficial to the bulls that do their research and see these things. I know that GameStop is not worth over $100 right now at this point in time. They haven't done anything, but that's not the point. That's the beauty in all of this. So ultimately, it was a wild day. So crazy, in fact, that Roaring Kitty said he's going to be doing a stream tonight. Looking forward to being there for that. They got tons of coverage. This was all over the news. I had my brother calling me, my dad, a couple coworkers who know I invest in GameStop. Everyone was talking to me today. Like, holy crap! Do you see what's happening with GameStop? GameStop. Like, GameStop was the story today. The only people I didn't see talking about it was CNBC. Maybe they did, might have missed it. I don't know. I was kind of off and on watching it while I was actually doing my real world job. But that was just funny to me how this was the story today. It was insane. And it's still hysterical that there are people out there that don't understand how a short squeeze works. And they're getting mad at people bidding up the price. They don't understand that the people bidding up the price are these huge investment firms trying to get out of their positions. And the only way to get out of a short squeeze or a short position is to buy shares at a higher price when you're getting squeezed. That's the whole beauty of it. So I'll leave it at this. It was a fantastic day, but I don't think it's over. Not by a long shot. I'm very interested to see what the price action is next week. I've definitely booked enough profits to be happy. If it does go down next week, I'm fine. But if it goes up next week, it'd be a really pleasant surprise. And I've been touting GameStop for over a year now. I wish people would start listening to me with my advice. I don't just shoot from the hip. I might look like it when I do these videos when I'm on my jogs and walking, but I do a hell of a lot of research. I'm not an idiot. Although the big YouTuber guys would like to make you think that, so you subscribe to them and not me. But it is what it is. I'd rather have my dollars subscribe to me, I guess, ultimately, than fake people. So if you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe, hit that like button. Let me know if you're invested in GameStop. If you bought it when I told you to over, a year ago? And I had someone say the other day, sorry about the wind at the end here. I had someone say the other day, you're not a financial advisor. You need to tell people that. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm not a financial advisor. So take whatever I say as entertainment. So that's my disclaimer. Probably should have said that at the beginning, but whatever. I just kind of wing these videos. I'm going to leave it right there. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I can't wait to see what happens next week with GameStop. Thank you so much. You stay smashing.
Smash the J,